2B2T is a place where you can do anything. You can hack, steal, kill, grief, and lie. This is Minecraft's oldest anarchy server. It has no rules, no moderation, and no one with a weak will can stay playing on the server for more than a week. And today, I'm gonna play it. I started out by joining the server. Boy, was that a mistake. I had some fun in the queue, and then it was back to waiting. Hey look, it's funny weed number. I had some technical issues, but I'll let Sem or me explain that. So I got to 17 in queue, and decided I was just too tired from staying up all night to be able to play. So I had to leave, and about 7 hours later when I woke up, I got back in queue, and began waiting again. I checked the tab list, and I had 5.5 hours left. But at long last, I had done it. I had beat the queue and gotten on to 2B2T. I was underground and alone. I could already see the 4 Wither name tags and hear their explosions right above me. But there it was, daylight, freedom. If only I could get out there and find a portal, I would be completely safe from the spawn. I would have escaped. I made it up the spawn, finding nothing but destruction waiting for me. And here in front of me was one of 2B2T's great cobblestone walls, littered all across spawn. I experienced some of that famous 2B2T lag and continued exploring. What awaited me was a huge quarry built out with TNT dupers, probably made for thousands of blocks. I looked around and there it was, my escape from this hellhole, a nether portal. But there ended up being another one closer, so in we go. What I found didn't shock me at all. This was one of 2B2T's famous nether portal traps. But now that we found the nether and gotten out of spawn, I need to set some objectives. My first objective is to escape spawn. Done. Second objective is to reach 200k in the overworld. Not so easy, but definitely doable. My third goal is to get a sustainable food source, most likely a farm or some sort of way to fish. And my fourth is to make a home. At 200k or close to that, I want to make a home and log off there. While we're walking, I might as well take this opportunity to remind you to subscribe. Only a small percentage of my viewers are actually subscribed, and it helps out the channel a lot. Just feel free to subscribe if you like my content. While walking along the road, I found a random piece of obsidian, but in the distance, I saw a person, somebody's name tag. I mean, did I let them out? What could I do for them? It's not like I was going to mine that whole block. I could maybe. I could let them out, but maybe they didn't want to be let out. They logged off shortly after my futile attempts to try and get them out. Not everyone can stay untrapped on 2B2T, so I continued my journey. Now at this point, I had been walking along one of these straight access nether highways. A nether highway is just an obsidian bridge built at the top of the nether for safe travel along the nether roof. But I had stumbled upon a diagonal path and decided to take that instead. I found a portal but decided I was not far out enough yet to even try and go through. You see, on 2B2T there's a whole portal trapping community. Basically, you do not want to go through a portal if it's that close to spawn because it is most likely trapped on the other side and there's no /kill command on the server. You will just be stuck there forever. I found another portal and almost immediately fell off because I was not paying attention, but once again decided it was just not time yet. My next discovery was an end crystal. Now on 2B2T, multiple people leave end crystals out on the highways in case someone has the hack auto crystal on. Now, I haven't really explained this yet, but to survive in 2B2T, you pretty much just need hacks, and I'm going in completely bare bones, no hacks at all. Thankfully, because of that, I will not die to this crystal trap. I noticed something off to my left, and honestly, although it was obviously destruction, it was kind of beautiful, just like a lot of 2B2T is. The ground around me had now turned back to obsidian, but I did notice a portal, a pretty big one. I marked my coords down and immediately went through. What I found was land. Well, not land, underground. I saw some water and thought, hey, I might as well try and swim up that. But as I would soon find out, there really wasn't anything up there. I explored the cave some more and saw this as an opportunity to get dirt to explore the nether more. I got what I came for and decided to go back through the portal. I came out at a random portal, no highway in sight. I had to go and find it somehow because it was my only way of getting out of the nether again and not being stuck underground. So, I went out in search of the highway. I decided to go get a good look of the bedrock floor, and there I saw 2 withers, completely immobile, but I did not want to go close to them. After about 20 minutes of trying to find the highway, I gave up and found another portal, and decided to try and go through. This time, no joke, it was actually land, and land with trees and crops and grass. I might have lied about the crops part, but there was trees and grass. Now I could finally start my Minecraft Let's Play, so I started chopping down a piece of wood. I got some basic stone tools and decided to write a sign. My first day on 2B2T. Thanks, trees. I found some other people's signs, some sign of civilization, recent civilization too, and decided to write my own. After lots of traveling and searching and finding cool new things, I found an overworld highway, which was great because it allowed me to use even less food than I was using. So if you haven't noticed, I haven't sprinted pretty much anywhere during this entire playthrough, and that's because I don't have a food source or any food for that matter. So the more I sprint, the more food I use, and the faster I will become hungry and just die. I ended up finding this big structure and a large obsidian roof covering the entire place. It turns out this wall and what was behind it was the 10K monument, which means I was now 20,000 blocks out in the overworld, just a small percentage of my original goal. I started to walk through and immediately saw the remains of the original monument before it was lava casted and griefed. As I turned my head, I saw chests. Now, usually you won't find anything in chests, but at a monument, there was a small chance I would actually find something good. It was bows, enchanted bows. This confirmed it. With this, I would be able to change my entire playthrough, if it had food especially. I looked in the next chest, and there it was. Basically infinite food for my trip on 2B2T. I was now set to make it to 200,000 in the overworld. The chest also had a variety of potions. Now, there was a very small chance I was going to get into combat during my playthrough of 2B2T, but I had to be safe. I loaded up what I could into my ender chest and inventory, and decided to get going. I couldn't stay here for much longer. From my experience, often old players will try and camp popular spots to try and kill new players. I was going to take the diagonal path before I saw a sign. Going ahead is suicide, there's too many withers. I nodded agreement and decided to take a look at the surrounding. Again, destruction on 2B2T is somewhat beautiful. But now that I had taken in the sights, it was time to go. I still had a long way to go before I made it to 200k. The X highway didn't go any longer, which means it never went longer, which doesn't sound right, or it was grieved, which means I would have to take the diagonal path. I found a house. It was always destined to be griefed given its distance from the highway, but it was nice to see. I found a collection of redstone on the ground. I was really hoping that it was not supposed to be blood and an omen of death. Right past it was a room. Obviously the ruins of something built into the mountain, but I wonder, what was here? What players had stopped here? What players built this? The history of 2B2D is something beautiful, and sadly, a lot of it is lost. We'll never know who built this most likely, but it's nice to think about it. I found a bunch of signs that pointed to a staircase that led outside of the highway. And there was a sign that I was never happy to see. It seemed that someone had built some sort of phallic object and someone had griefed it, sadly. A strange sight to see was the floating obsidian platform slowly consuming the sky as my chunks rendered. I don't know what this is, but I didn't want to. But it seems I had found another player-made structure right underneath it. Although it was grief, it meant we were getting safer and safer the farther we went out, which was nice to reassure myself with. I saw another portal and decided that my adventures in the overworld were done for now. The first thing I heard was a wither, not a good sign. But on top of that, I wasn't even on the nether highway. My first goal was to get back onto it. And with these last few blocks, my goal was completed. I was back on the nether highway, and on to 200k. I found a totem on the ground, which means either someone had just dropped this, or the chunks hadn't been loaded in a long time. Either way, I had to get out of there quick. The next thing I found was a weird temple or arena with signs left on it. But the strangest thing was, this wasn't marking anything. I was close to 4k in the nether, but nothing. But on the bright side, I was now at 5k in the nether, which meant I was 80,000 blocks out in the overworld. Also, check the timestamp of the video. Hit 10k right as I hit 10 minutes in the video. I'm a fucking genius! After a lot of walking, and I mean a lot of walking, I made it to 12,500 in the nether, which was 200,000 in the overworld. We had completed our second goal. Now all we had to do was find a portal, and it looked like there were plenty of those around. Let's see what 200,000 in the overworld looks like on 2b2t. I had made it, and it was beautiful. Just like I've said before, beauty on 2b2t does not have to equal good looking. The destruction and history of the server is truly something special. By making it here, I have overcome a challenge many new players only dream of completing. I reached 100k. Maybe I'm reading too much into a silly little Minecraft server here, but the ice and snow greeting me at the portal symbolizes the loneliness and isolation I felt my whole journey, only running into one player on the X Highway. But thanks to my own solitude, I was able to make it here safely, without the danger of meeting a kitted out player. I made it to 200k. And there it was, my sustainable food source. My third goal had been completed, and all I had left to do was make a home. I started collecting wood to make a home. I was safe now. Safe enough as I could be on 2b2t. There seemed to be an already decently carved out place right by the farm, so I decided to make my house there. And with these oak logs, I was officially building my first house on 2b2t. And here's the completed house. It's not much, I didn't really have a lot of materials or blocks or anything to build with, but this is my summer home. This is Cosley's summer home at 200k on 2b2t. Obviously, I expect this to be griefed probably before this video even releases, but it's here, and I have completed my final task on 2b2t. Thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't. It really helps out the channel. I'll see you all in the next video.